what created my success, is learning how to raise capital. And I think everybody watching right now needs to learn how to do it. And you just can't go out to people and say, give me money, I'm in real estate. It's probably the worst thing you can do. You know, there's three things that people want to know when you want to raise capital from them. It's who you are. I tell them who I am, what I'm going to do with their money, and I tell them how I'm going to pay them back. And I literally used to have like a 4 or 5 pages of a flip chart where I would walk through, this is who I am, this is the deal I'm buying, this is where your money's going to, and at the end I'm going to refi this deal with Conestoga Bank and I'm going to pay you back your money. So, but I became an expert in this. And if you're a rehabber, be the expert. If you're going to raise capital, be the expert. If you're going to be the wholesaler, be the expert. If you're going to raise money through self-directed IRAs, you need to be the expert. You need to learn self-directed IRAs and know them inside and out, because there's so much more money in self-directed IRAs than there is in people's normal bank accounts, especially when you raise money from accredited investors like I do. You know, most people don't have a lot of savings. Most of the time it's in their home and it's in their IRA money because they worked, you know, most of the people that I raise money from, you know, they're not at real estate meetings because everyone's looking for money at real estate meetings, but they're really people 55 and older. Yeah. They've made their money, right? They want a passive income, which is, you know, when they're lending, they are. And they just want a consistent return on their money. They just want a consistent return on their money. And you've got to show them what you're doing. But, you know, what I have written down here is becoming the expert in what you do. I am an expert in raising capital. If you become the expert and you can put that next to your name, you're going to be looked at different than everybody else. Because if there's 10 people standing in line and they say, who's the expert in line, and you raise your hand, who do you think they're going to pick? They're going to pick the expert. Right. So I'm not an expert in doing note workouts. I'm not an expert. I own 10 or 11 apartment buildings. I'm getting ready to, we just put a $75 million apartment building under contract. But I didn't, my partner flew there today. I didn't fly there. I'm not going to go and walk all the units and everything. But when he gets back, he's going to tell me we need like $16 million. That's my job. That's when I kick in. So it's fair exchange between my partners, and we each do each other's job. So, you know, I want to just explain something to you for the people that are just getting in and only maybe have 5 or 6 properties. I'm telling you, I couldn't see it. I had to believe. I had to believe in what I was doing from the beginning, because the 5 or 6 years of this journey is hard. You're learning. It's a process, but every single year you get better. And when you start accumulating properties, it's going to be really tough. But you got to be able to look out 7 or 8 years of where you're going to be. I remember I probably had, I probably had 50 or $60 million worth of real estate at that point. And I did my first apartment building, okay, my first big one. It was the first one was 16 million, the next one was 27 million. And what I didn't realize, I've never really calculated up everything that I own along that journey. And when they asked me to do my net worth and I had to put all my properties together, all my IRAs together, I said to my partner, Kerry Fakes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what we own. I just can't believe it. But it works out over time, because one thing that I always looked at when you have bank loans, I want you to listen to this. When you have bank loans, I want you to take an Excel spreadsheet, because a lot of times you're not cash flowing a whole lot. But I used to look at the principal pay down every single month. And I'm telling you, I looked at it every single month. When I had 30 or 40 properties, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not making a lot of money. But I knew later, I knew 5 or 7 or 10 years down the line, one thing that I looked at was looking at the principal of what I was paying down every month. And I remember with our Temple portfolio, we really got to a point where we were paying down $24,000 a month off the principal of these loans. Now, that wasn't money that I could stick in my pocket, but it made me feel good that I know that I was probably increasing the equity just over inflation and time and higher in my rents going up. But no one really looks at what you're paying down on your mortgages. And that's powerful, because when you get to your 7th and 8th year, it really starts accelerating. So it's really a psychology mental thing to be able to look. So even if you got 5 properties, I want you to just make a simple Excel spreadsheet, and I want you to just go, my payment's $1,000, and next to it I want you to put what you're paying down in principal off that $90,000 mortgage and what you're paying in interest. And if you've got 5 or 6 properties, you might be paying down maybe $100 or $200, but that's $800 a month that you're actually, I call it I'm making, because it's kind of being banked for future.
Wealth. That's the
future
long-term
wealth. It's future wealth. People call me all the time. I want to get into real estate because I want to get rich, and I go, I have no time for you. It took me it took me 10 years to really start feeling good, but from 10 to 15 years, I started walking like a badass. I mean, and that's what you can't see. I couldn't see that. So that's why I'm trying to help you. The things that you're doing now, you just can't see where they're going to be. And if you take a look at the virus, what's happened the past 7 months, you never see when real estate's going to explode. Yeah. I mean, it's exploded 10 and 15, 20 and 30% on some of our properties. Mm-hmm. And I really want you to think about, not buying $60,000 properties. I want you to talk about buying $200,000 and $300,000 properties, because it's the same thing. I had a friend that owned 30 single family properties that were all worth about 70 grand. And that's why I went from my first 9 were those $70,000 properties. But then I went to $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000 properties, which I just sold like 25 of them for in the $600,000 range. So there is that learning curve with the 80 and 90, but I need you to increase to $200,000 to $300,000 properties. Yeah. It's a game changer as far as your wealth goes, and you need to have you need to have that combination. You need to have that combination. So become the expert, and just keep buying. I just keep buying. I mean, I'm still buying today. Mm-hmm. But what I realized, the first 6 or 7 years, I just believed. You just have to believe that real estate is the way. And I'm telling you, it is the way. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be crazy about it. In all those hard times, just think of somebody that's really successful. If you're in there for the first 5 or 6 years, just go look at someone that's been in the business for 15 years and see where they are. But they went through that same pain you did. And that's what I've been doing. But it turned for me 5, 6 years ago. And it turned because I had all this real estate, and someone came to me and we bought a $27.5 million apartment building. Total fluke. I was an expert in raising the capital. I raised about $6 million for this deal, but in 1 year we sold that for $41 million. And that's what's going to happen to you, because you get lucky along the way. That was no expertise that guy came along and wanted to pay us an insanity amount of money. There was no expertise of that. I used to walk around and say, yeah, I really did an amazing job on that deal. No, I didn't do anything on that deal. I got lucky. So in anything in life, when you keep pushing hard, the luck falls into place. And I hate when someone says that I am lucky to where I got. I did work a lot of years, but I like getting lucky now on some deals. So, just keep buying, believing, get that partner, give up that equity to explode your business. Come in and have help. You can always bring in somebody for equity, for 4 or 5 years, and then you can move on your own and get bigger once you look better on paper.
Don't wait to buy real estate.
Man, I get fired up when we start talking about this.
Can you guys tell he's fired up? Yeah.